Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. How are you doing? Good? Waiting for lunch? Hopefully I'm not coming in between, now and your lunch. But thank you very much for that gracious introduction. In all humility, I'm just a student for life. Nothing extraordinary about that. We all are. And I'm hoping that by the end of my talk today, we're going to just take a few nuggets that we can work with and make ourselves richer, make our businesses richer, get some interest from some VCs that you're coming here to impress, maybe. And beyond that, maybe have a better appreciation for East Africa and the Kenyan market in terms of what we see as the reality unfolding itself in front of us. So if I can just see if I could go back. Okay, so this picture was put there with full intent. Right, you can see me that overexcited guy right in the middle. Right next to me, it's Nita, who is the regulator at Central Bank of Kenya, and what she's showing off is basically this ring. And what this ring is, I'll explain to you in the next slide. So this has been Mastercard's journey. We call ourselves the original fintech. Okay, we make billions of dollars, so I understand it's not exactly the right profile, but hey, we started way early, I guess. If you look at our journey, these were all big disruptions at their own time. The Mac Stripe, starting from the Mac Stripe, going all the way down to now Tap on Phone in 2019. But then if you look right now, we have enabled in Kenya ways for you to make payments which are more youth suitable, let's say. So I can make a payment with this passive ring, and I can actually not carry my card with me. I don't need to carry my phone with me. I can be wearing a Maasai band, go to my favorite shop, cafe, whatever, and I can make my payment. Now that's a very cool way that you can actually enjoy if that's your lifestyle, if that's what you like. It's another option, yeah? In Hong Kong, this is already done on a day-to-day basis, so it's not surprising. But it was interesting, I gave Citizen TV an interview recently. Citizen TV, for all of you who are visiting from outside, is a very popular television station. And by the time I left that show at 9:30 p.m. and I was heading to my home, there were already about 50,000 views and about 7,000 comments just because I made the mistake of showing this ring in the show. And I was called everything from the digital evangelist to the most unsuitable terms that could be allotted to me in terms of the end of the world and the doomsday coming closer and, and all of that. However, the intent from my side was simply to showcase that there is risk, but you have to take certain risks. If you're an innovator, you gotta have to take some calculated risks if you want to be relevant to the next generation. So for those of you who are interested in how this thing works, there's a counter out there. They've got bands, they've got rings. Just go out, try it out. They'll demo it for you, and you'll see the user experience. It's pretty cool. Now, let's go to the next slide. The convergence of phone. In fact, let me go back and let me do some quiz here. Sorry, for those of you who have taken the sneak peek. Do you know how many years it took the airplanes to get to 50 million users or travelers? Any guesses? 40. 40 years, we've got 140. Anybody else? 70? Okay, I heard a 70, good, okay. I'm gonna ask another couple of questions and then I'll show you the answer. How much time did it take telephones to get to 50 million? Huh? 1 year. Okay, let's say telephones, not mobile phones, telephones. Changes perspective, right? Okay, Pokemon Go. How much time did it take for Pokemon Go to get to 50 million? Maybe this side of the house. Huh? 2 weeks? 18 days. Whoa, that's close, that's close. Okay, let's kill the suspense. So there are your answers. 64 years to get the airlines going, 50 years for the telephones, even cards are at 28, and Pokemon Go 19. So for those of us who feel scaling is a problem, scaling is surely not the problem. If you are a fintech or you are a tech company trying to get going, access to customers through various platforms, that's not a difficulty anymore. However, is scaling the only thing? I just heard from PowerPay that frankly, you could go all guns blazing, you're scaling, you're becoming big, and then you realize that you're not growing your bottom line and things go down the tube, right? So that's very much the reality of in the tech space. Another encouraging point that I want to present to you is that 64% of the people we have interviewed have told us that for economic reasons, they would love to be working with fintechs. Just because if the status quo is a bit too expensive or inefficient, they would prefer to work with a fintech. 76% say they would be happy if there's a convenience factor attached to that fintech service. They would love to adopt that. And then if you look at the rate at which the customer base is growing with neobanks, it is phenomenal. We're talking about 590 million people who will be going on to neobanks and challenger banks. Anybody has an example of the biggest neobank in the world? Huh? Revolut? Okay. Nubank? Okay. So I think you got that. It is Nubank. Nubank is currently sitting at north of 30 million. And they did start way back in the day. But that just tells you that in a country like Brazil, where tech adoption works at a very fast pace, there's already proof points where digital bank can really outstrip the conventional FIs and take the customer base in massive scale. To the point I was making earlier on, scaling is not everything. You can get to scale, but you look at the profitability metric on what percentage of those neobanks are actually profitable, and you'll see it's only 5%. And the thought behind that, or the idea behind that, is if you're getting somebody to just get onto a store of value, and I don't care if you're a mobile money store of value or a card store of value or an account store of value, it just doesn't matter. If you don't get them engaged and look at their customer lifecycle journey and engage in terms of loyalty and engage in terms of constantly renewing yourself and your value proposition, the decline has already begun. So you have to be reinventing and coming up with better value propositions, better user experiences. A better user interface helps, and that will keep you going, but at the same time, increase your cross-sell penetration, increase your per customer profitability, and ensure that they're in it for the long haul with you. Gamification is something that's coming out really strongly these days, something to keep in mind. Okay, $32 billion is the amount of funding that's gone into the 13 super apps that have been raised. Why is that? There's a sense of convergence. And what convergence warrants is that I want everything on one platform made easy for me. And frankly, I don't care about the bureaucracies of the ecosystem. And let me qualify that statement with another statement. Today, which countries have open banking and which countries are thriving when it comes to open banking? Any hands? Anybody wants to take a shot? Europe? Okay. So let's start with Europe, okay? PSD2, or Payment Services Systems Directive 2, is now migrating into PSD3, And what that's enabling is a level playing field for FIs and non-FIs to have anonymized data and data sets based on which they can build their CVPs and target their customer base in a more efficient way, whilst ensuring that the data security, data privacy is kept intact. Now, which platform in Kenya has the biggest data set? Safaricom. No points for guessing there, right? Safaricom. Now, imagine if we were to go to a body of trust, which could be the regulator. It could be a body of trust where Safaricom is plugged in. We are hearing things right now about, hey, how about PesaLink becomes an FPS? You may have seen this in the news, yeah? And that's brilliant news, because if there's a body of trust which can create an equilibrium in Kenya, then based on the anonymized data sets that we do have, we can actually enrich and create opportunity for fintechs in this room to target those customers with their relevant CVPs without the fear of the customer losing their data or it being abused. So is it not worth an effort that we sit down with the regulators, bodies of trust beyond the regulators, and try to get that going? Because I think open banking can be a game changer for all of us. How many of us feel in Kenya that our financial service provider understands us, knows us, responds to our behavioral changes? Raise your hand. I thought so. And if you have one, please meet me after the call. I would love to learn about it, okay? All right, I'm just going to skip through this one because we all have heard about Web3, and decentralized finance is a reality. The kind of impact we are expecting to see on the back of decentralized finance, where it's more peer-to-peer lending, albeit there are intermediaries in the middle working out the process for us. But this is going to be the next thing. Next big thing is decentralized finance, and it could have an impact of $867 trillion, a massive number, to disrupt the conventional financial ecosystem. Yeah? Maybe not here in Kenya en masse, but it is something that we should be anticipating in the near future. Okay, raise your hand if you feel strongly about the world we live in. Awesome, 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 good. Some of us are just waiting for lunch. Otherwise, I'm sure you would have raised your hand, right? So here we go. So look, what the customers are saying is to make ESG embedded. Whatever service you're providing, can you make it embedded in there so that, let's say, if I have a payment app, how many of you have apps as tech providers? Raise your hand. How many of you have apps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, a number of you, which is fantastic. Now, if you were to layer API called the Carbon Calculator, which Mastercard has developed with Economy in the Nordics, that can actually tell your customer where they have used their store of value. Was it used in line with the environmental best practices? And if not, that particular customer should actually plant trees to the tune of 5, 10 for that month to offset their carbon footprint. I think that would be very cool for us to embed that in our telco apps, our bank apps, our fintech apps, just because it tracks a behavior and gives you the ownership to make an impact. So we can easily go around blaming the world and the governments and the big, companies who we say are not doing enough. Well, it's time to give the control back to the people and let them control, as much as we should put the responsibility on governments and private and public sector. 1.4 billion people today are non-banked. Huge, huge, huge base for all of us to feel optimistic about, that we can actually get new customers into our fold and grow our businesses. Yeah? Just a case study, a quick one. In the US, we needed a solution, and there's a company called Greenlight, which wanted a solution for enabling kids and parents to have a reward and penalty system of sorts, and there would be chores that the kids would make money on if they were to do them well, and gamify it. So what we did was we worked with them and enabled them to market it for them, got their customer base to go up, and at the same time, got 30,000 accounts open within a few weeks. And I'm just throwing this at different ends. You'll see this example may not be as big, but this is still an example of where Mastercard, even if you're a small entity, I would love for you to be invited to our offices. I would love for our teams to engage with you, because as big as we may be, we are humble enough to know we're only as good as our next collaboration and the next use case that we're going to unlock. Yeah? So if you go a little bit on the higher scale, Crypto.com came to us in the Middle East and said, we want a quick exchange between fiat, crypto, fiat through their own app, and Mastercard would be issuing prepaid cards which can then enable those transfers. So what we did that for them was we did the research, we checked out the market, we checked out the competition, we checked out what would be the best positioning, and these went live and were profitable in their very first year for Crypto.com. Kenya, I think there is a deterrence to crypto currently. I'm so happy that the Ministry of Treasury have actually taken a stance that they would be willing to relook at it, and they may open crypto, or not crypto per se, but all kinds of digital money, so that it's not a closed door. I think the rest of Africa does see a lot of crypto. We believe that Kenya has to have its share, so we're surely going to work with the regulator to get that going. How many of you think Mastercard's a card company? Raise your hand. Come on. Our name is Card. Come on. Okay. All right. So yes, we have our name as a card company, but Apple is not a fruit store, and Amazon's not a shop by the river in Brazil. So hey, we can still hold on to that and do quite a bit of diverse solutioning. So we do all of that. Let me shock you, or maybe it won't shock you, but I'll try. You saw an announcement in Ethiopia where Safaricom went live with Cashgo and Dashin Bank. Let me tell you, behind that solution, so what is Safaricom? Mobile wallet. Dashin Bank is an FI. Cashgo is a fintech. Who's got the gateway behind there? Mastercard. What are we doing in that process? Account funding. Account funding is a beautiful process whereby you could be anywhere in the world. You can hit Dashin Bank GL. An API call takes the money and credits an M-Pesa in Ethiopia. A big unlock, because we are net inward remittance countries in East Africa, so therefore this makes absolute sense for the people of Ethiopia, customers, and of course the entities that I've just named involved. Are we not doing that in Kenya? Of course we are, and you'll be hearing a lot of news coming out of that in the next few weeks, in fact. So, so that's an account play. We do, in terms of our merchant services, you will be seeing a lot more of QR. Yes, I know people have tried QR in the past, they didn't work, but we're bringing it back, and we're going to bring it strong, because now QR is interoperable in the market, and we have partners in the room and outside who are helping us get to the market with QR. Since I've just got 30 seconds left, it is important that I point out to you why we think you should come and have a conversation, and why we should come to you and have a conversation, frankly, because we have the infrastructure, something called Mastercard Accelerate. It has 4 components. There is Engage, there is StartPath, there is Fintech Express, and there's the developers. All of them are meant to add to your tech model something that could benefit you. Even as simple as raising funding. With StartPath alone, you'll notice that we have actually benefited 350 plus fintechs and given them $1.5 billion of support over the last few years. In addition to that, we have exposed our APIs and ensured that our tools are used to get their transactions up by 10x, or usability up by 10x. So FinTech Express, StartPath, Engage, and API developers, these are 4 things that you must check out. I would recommend that you engage with us. We've got a lovely office at General Mathenge Drive. We've got our Mastercard Labs teams there. We design new things. Some of them work, some of them don't. Some of them we export to even the West. Designed, made in Kenya, exported to US. Like, for example, recently we did something which is called a unified subscription service. How many of you have subscriptions? Come on, there's got to be more. Netflix, Amazon, Spotify. Yeah, there we go. So if you wanted one place where you could see all of it, I think my life would be way a lot easier. I would love to toggle off and on where I don't want myself to be charged this month, yeah, or where I do want to add a subscription, but in one place. We've got a solution that's going already and doing the rounds in the US, and we're going to be bringing it here very soon after the pilot. Those are just some proof points, but now I'm going to just leave you with this slide where you can clearly see that we will help you at the build stage of your business. We can help you at the launch stage of your business and at the growth stage. So wherever you are in your business, engage with us. Yeah, I think there will be a lot of magic that we can create. Yeah, we have a lot of fun. So we're a fun bunch, yeah? Mastercard teams in the house. Raise your hands if you're there. There we go. It looks like we're having fun now, isn't it? Okay, we are. So guys, come join. It's a really infectious energy at Mastercard. Come visit us. We'll do the straight talk. We'll do the transparent talk. We'll be honest. And we will ensure that if we can connect the dots better for you, that we do so. And if we can't, we tell you up front so that it's not a waste of time, because that's the last thing any of us want. We do these forums once a year, every year, so please feel free to join those. We will put out the announcements right before, a month or so before they occur. Somebody said new bank, yeah? Thank you, because that's exactly that bank that we were referring to that is the largest, and Mastercard is their preferred service provider. MTN Rwanda went live last month with their virtual cards in Rwanda, and all of you who know Rwanda know that MTN is huge there. We collaborated with I&M Group to be their sponsor, and MTN has gone live. And in the next week, 10 days, you're going to see another mammoth large company go live with our solutions. Thanks to, again, our partners and to the company. We're really humbled in their trust in Mastercard. Apple, I'm not going to touch on because probably the whole world knows about it. So that's good enough. So with that, I want to thank you. I've gone over time. I apologize. But please look at Mastercard as a place where you want to come, have a conversation, a meaningful one, and please visit our stands outside. I'm sure you're going to like what you see. These are future solutions that will take over Kenya. Trust me, I love it when I go to any shop and I use this ring. And this ring calculates my heart rate, my steps, a lot of other things, oxygen levels, and you name it. And it costs $45, right? But let's say if you want to go mass, those Maasai bands, $1. You get the same functionality. And look at the youth. What's the average median age in Kenya? 19 years. Perfect. This is how you bring out change. Seamless way of payment, tap and walk out. I control my limits from my phone. 10,000 shillings a day is what I've kept. You can decide to keep it whatever you want. And you can control your kids' spending as well while giving them something that doesn't have your card credentials on them. Yeah? So no card credentials. It's a tokenized passive variable. Yeah? Sorry, I've oversold the ring. I'm sorry. But thank you very much for your time and patience. I hope you found this valuable. And we at Mastercard will be waiting for you humbly to try us out. Thank you very much.